This happened in 2019 when I was 21. I was spending the summer at my parents' place and decided to camp in the woods behind their house while I had the chance. The trip was completely spontaneous. One morning I just packed my bag and headed out for the night. I'd done this many times before, so it wasn't anything special. I told my parents where I'd be and left around 4 p.m. to find a spot to settle in. After walking for about an hour, I found an open area that looked good enough. I set up my tent, cleared some space, and started a small campfire. It felt peaceful, and the slowly setting sun made the moment even better. It was exactly the kind of evening I wanted, but it didn't stay that way for long. Just as the sun was about to drop below the treetops, I heard a voice, a man's voice, either muttering or talking. It almost sounded like it was echoing, making it hard to tell where it was coming from. The shadows in the woods also made it difficult to see anything clearly. I should probably mention that the forest behind my parents' house is huge and mostly untouched. There are no trails back there, so running into someone would be rare. At first I thought the person would just pass by, and that would be the end of it. But I kept hearing the voice for about 5 minutes, long enough to realize they weren't simply walking through. It felt like they might be lingering on purpose. Eventually, I called out, shouting a quick hello to see if they'd answer. But before I could even finish the word, the voice stopped. The woods went completely silent. I felt uneasy and called out again. Still no reply. Now I was honestly creeped out. With maybe 20 to 30 minutes of daylight left, I decided to move. There was no reason to stay somewhere that already felt unsettling. Within minutes, I packed up and headed deeper into the trees, searching for another place to camp. I wasn't as lucky this time. After about 15 minutes, and with the sunlight disappearing fast, I decided to settle right where I was, surrounded by trees. In hindsight, it was good timing because by the time the tent was up, the light was gone. The woods were completely dark and silent. Oddly enough, that silence felt reassuring. At least I'd hear if someone came near. I built another small fire and relaxed for a while. Eventually, I grabbed my snack bag and took out what I needed to make s'mores. I found a stick, put a marshmallow on it, and held it over the flame. For some reason, roasting a marshmallow over a campfire is one of my favorite things. It helped distract me from earlier. I made a few s'mores and stayed by the fire for hours. By then, it was late, and I was letting the fire slowly burn down. It still gave off some light, but nowhere near as much as before. Then I heard the crunch of leaves behind me. It sounded like it came from the back left side of my camp. It was pitch black though, and once I turned toward the sound, whatever it was stopped moving. I called out again, though I didn't expect an answer after what happened earlier. But a few moments later, a man stepped out of the trees and into the light. It startled me because he appeared from a different direction than the sound I had heard. "Didn't mean to scare you," he said with a smile, casually walking up to the fire and sitting beside it. He held his hands out toward the flames like he belonged there, like he knew me or had every reason to be at my campsite. Can I help you?" "I think you're at the wrong campsite," I said. "No," he replied. I had no idea which part he was saying no to, but either way, it was an unsettling answer. I had to think for a moment about what to say next, and the silence between us became tense. We just sat there, neither of us speaking. The awkwardness pushed me to ask the first thing that came to mind, something I probably shouldn't have said. "Were you the one I heard talking out in the woods near my first campsite earlier?" He kept staring into the fire, but his expression suddenly went blank. "Must have been someone else," he said, his voice now completely flat. Everything about this felt wrong, but I still didn't know how to leave without making things worse. Before I could think of a plan, a stick snapped behind me. I turned. The sound came from the same spot, the back left of the campsite. My heart dropped. The man wasn't alone. Someone else was out there. I turned back toward the campfire, and he was staring directly at me. I honestly can't recall whether he was smiling, frowning, or anything else. All I remember was the cold, lifeless look in his eyes. It froze me for a second. Then I shot up from my chair and sprinted straight into the trees. I heard one of the men yell something clearly frustrated and speaking to the other, and then I heard footsteps chasing after me. But as I ran deeper into the forest and into complete darkness, I managed to lose them. Since I'd grown up around these woods, I was at least familiar enough to navigate my way through and eventually reach the road. From there, I followed it back to my parents' house. They called 911 immediately. The short version is that I took a group of officers to the site the next morning. Everything was gone. Whether that was better or worse, I still don't know. On one hand, maybe they were only planning to steal my things. On the other hand, The fact that they cleared out completely made it obvious they had bad intentions, and they could have been planning almost anything. After all, one of them did chase me. It won't surprise anyone that I never went back into those woods again. Later that summer, being an experienced backpacker and camper, I heard from a friend about old fire lookouts you could rent. They were retired lookout towers.